Hello there and welcome to James Hennon on YouTube. Today I've decided to give another sample reading of my Celtic Cross and I'm going to use a different pack today. I'm going to use the Morgan Greer pack. I don't know if you're familiar with this pack. It's kind of based around it is based around the Rider-Waite, but it's by Morgan Greer. So what I'm going to do, just getting straight into it, is I'm going to shuffle the cards as I would normally do. And I'm going to focus on really the same question that I would always focus on for the purpose of these YouTube videos, which is basically how can I best achieve my goals at this time. And I'm going to give it a bit of a shuffle. I'm not going to make too much of a fuss of what I'm doing because this is going to be a generalized reading, and obviously it's just to show you how this Celtic Cross spread works. So for those that are not familiar, should I say, this is not a traditional Celtic Cross. This is one developed by Vincent Pisecki, I think. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. You'll have to forgive me if I've got it wrong. He's a fellow YouTuber who is a teacher, mentor, tarot reader with a vast amount of experience on the tarot. He's a really good reader. I would check out his channel if I was you. Very good if you're looking to learn more. He's helped me a lot. I mean, I've been reading for years, but I've just found that his approach is a lot better than, for me anyway, a lot better than the styles I was using before. So what I'm going to do now, the next step, getting onto it, is to put these into 3 piles. Don't have to be exactly accurate, but it's just so that we can turn these cards over now and sort of see which one of these fits with where we are at the moment with the question that we've asked. Which one do you think? I'm going to go with the 7 of Swords in the center because we've asked how we can achieve our goals, and I think this is the most fitting. So I'm going to lay the cards out like I would in the spread. The first 2 cards are the question. The card directly above is the efforts and actions we're starting to take or are taking currently. The card underneath, which is the 4th card, is the short-term direction and goal of what we're trying to achieve, and the goal that we have that's coming out of what we're thinking about. So this card follows on from 3, obviously. It should make sense. The card to the left of the question card is the asset. This is something that we've got working in our favour. This is what we can rely on that's going to help us, it's going to be good for us within the question we've asked about. The card to the right is the future opportunities, things that we should look out for that are likely to materialise as time goes on. These will be things that will be beneficial and helpful to us. They can be situations or people, and they can be kind of like what we should be working with or what we should be looking out for. 7th card here is the perspective of the client you're reading for, how they see their question, the position they're in. The 8th card is the timing for the reading, which just basically says, is it a time to act? Is it a time to wait? Is it a time to consider things? Should I move on things? Should I look for new ideas? Basically, it just gives you a timing of what you should be doing as the reading's unfolding. 9th card is the purpose, which just basically illustrates what we're trying to achieve. What is the ultimate purpose here? What we're trying to achieve with this question and the reading. And the final card is just finer details, summary, and just additional information that's going to help us. So getting straight into it, we've got the 7 of Cups with the question. And then we've got the 4 of Swords, sort of kind of crossing it. So as far as I can see with this question of how we best achieve our goals is we've got lots of options in front of us at the moment. And we need to sort of very carefully have a look at these options and see which of these options are going to be workable, which of these options are going to be good for us, and which are going to be realistic. Now, from a standpoint, we need to do things and keep things stable as we do things, because 4s mean obviously stability. But the 4 of Swords is taking a quiet reflection, just taking a bit of time away from the hustle and bustle of life, just to consider your options carefully and patiently, not trying to rush things and being calm about things, taking a bit of time out, maybe retreating from the busyness of the world so that you can give yourself enough time to look at these options. Because we want to make the right decision with how we can best achieve the goal that we're trying to set. So if you've got a goal in your mind, a plan or something you want to achieve, just liken it to the question, to the cards that I'm laying out. So we'll skip the third card for a minute and we'll come straight to the viewpoint. This is the queryant's view of the question. And once again, we've got the 10 of Wands. Now, this is suggesting that maybe that you may be struggling to see a way forward at the moment, because you've got a lot of burdens, a lot of stress, a lot of things going on. Hence, the 4 of Swords was saying take the time out. So the 10 of Wands is definitely saying that, yeah, you're almost at the end of a cycle. You've got to complete it. You know, you've got to find a way of completing it, but you've got to explore options on how you can finish things up before you can move on. So it's a case of completing what work is in front of you. Then you'll have a better idea of what you want to do next and be able to see a clearer way forward, a clearer path. So that's the viewpoint of what you're trying to achieve. So the current efforts that the client or yourself is taking at the moment is the Hierophant. Now, this simply means that you're looking deeply into the situation to find the necessary guidance that you require to help you with this situation that you're in. You may be going to an advisor or a trusted friend who can help you, because this may be a specialist. A specialist may be needed because it may be a specialist sort of situation. You may be needing to get mortgage advice. You may be needing to get financial advice. You may be needing to get career advice. But it may be something where an expert or someone a bit more trained than yourself who has more insight can help guide you. And it's important. This would show that in your efforts that you find it important to gain the necessary guidance and information and researching the facts to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing before you do things, which fits nicely in with the 7 of Cups and the 4 of Swords, which shows that you're quietly looking over things and trying to make things a bit clearer. And of course, you're taking the necessary action with the Hierophant to gain that necessary guidance to take the next step. So the short-term purpose and goal of what you're trying to achieve is to come up with new creative ideas, ways that can expand on where you are now, ways that can take you forward and help your goals sort of become a reality, and how you can realistically take that next step. So the 3 of Wands is suggesting that your creative abilities will be well used in the near future, in the short term. And once you've taken action, you'll be able to stand back and see and give it enough time to see what comes of it. But putting new light on the situation and looking and exploring new creative possibilities is first and foremost what you most need to do. And it shows that you will have options as well. Again, coming out of what you're thinking, you may still have more than one option of how you move forward. It could be quite an expansive time for you once you start to access the information and start to make creative use of it. So the asset to the left here is it's the Cavalier of Swords. So it's the Knight of Swords. So your asset is that you're going to have the ability, once you've got the information and once you've processed it correctly, you're going to be able to move quite quickly on this. And I can see that there will be a lot of communication, a lot of conversations going on via text messages or telephone calls or just verbally communicating things. And you're going to be able to take things forward very quickly and very swiftly. Your ideas are going to be able to be put into motion swiftly, and you'll be able to move on this very well. And the fact that it's an asset shows that you're not taking any rash action. You've done the necessary planning and preparing with the 4 of Swords and the Hierophant, and you've taken the necessary action here. You've started to be creative and look at your options to expand your horizons, and then you can now move on it, and things can start to move a bit quicker. The action can now start to be taken. So I'm going to leave the future card for a minute, and I'm going to go on to the timing. So the timing is suggesting that this really is a time to get hold of the situation you find yourself in at the moment, but because perhaps you're probably a little bit out of sync, perhaps you've let things go a little bit, and now is the time to assert yourself and take back your power and start to make some necessary changes. It's important to make change at this time. And of course, you're exploring your options to do that once you've got the guidance, it's a good time to make change. Change can't be avoided. Something new has to come about. Hence, we had that with the Three of Wands here that was suggesting exploring new creative options. And I think this is what this is trying to say. The best way forward is to perhaps think of things that you haven't thought of before. But you've got to a position now where there is a bit of strife and conflict. Perhaps people are at cross purposes around you, or the people you work with, or the conditions or situations you find yourself in. So it's very important to consider change now and to set about with the information and the knowledge that you gain to start implementing that. So the purpose, the 9th card, is the Justice card. Now, it's important to be honest here with what you're trying to do. You're not going to be able to make a decision until you've got all the information you need. So once you've processed the situation and you've got the guidance and advice you need and the information and insight, you can then weigh things up from a truthful and honest standpoint and then be able to make the necessary decision. It shows that the purpose is to make a good decision and a fair decision. And you've got to consider what is the truth for you with how you go forward with what you're trying to achieve. There's no point making a decision if it's not really what you want or it's not going to put you in a good position. This is always going to be about going after the results that you want, going after the sort of outcome that you want. And the purpose is to really get things working in your favour. And again, it's about seeking out the truth within what you're trying to achieve and do at this time. And obviously the justice. So that's the purpose of what you're trying to do. So let's go back to the future card now, which is position 6. In the next 3 months, this is giving you the opportunity to make favourable changes, especially where there's been disappointments, especially where you've perhaps been spending a lot of time pondering over what went wrong or what you regret or how things should have been and weren't, and you feel a bit regretful. Now is the time to really make these heartfelt changes and start to focus on what still remains in your life and what things that you're feeling quite positive about. This is described by these 2 cards here that the figure here can't quite yet see. But it's showing that you'll have the opportunity in the near future to see what still remains and see what other options you've got, because you've got lots of options and you're going to be able to move on these with the Knight of Swords, which we saw as an asset. So change, swift change is very possible and favourable change. And although it might be disappointing to start with, you'll certainly be able to start the wheels turning and going in the direction you want to go in. And finally, the finer details and additional information of the card of the spread is the Temperance card, number 14. Lovely card, really illustrates things patiently coming together. You've got the support of the universe behind you with this. Things will come together when they're ready to. It's going to be a good time to make positive adjustments, and you should look for inspiration in the difficult moments where you need to make challenges. Look to make inspirational adjustments and changes, and it shows that a better balance will come out of the whole situation through spending the time looking at where you need to change and adjust things. You'll then start to feel a bit healthier and happier. This is a time where things could become very much more balanced, and you might find yourself doing several different activities, being able to enjoy a good work and home balance, and being able to feel a bit healthier with what you're trying to do and be in a healthier position. As I say, inspiration is going to play a part in that. So let yourself be inspired with how you move forward. It's also suggesting improving health, perhaps mentally or physically if you've been suffering, provided that you start to think more of yourself, make more time for yourself and make the necessary adjustments. And of course, patience will be needed. So be patient and show plenty of understanding, because things are coming together, and in time they will make a lot more sense and lead to a more happy and healthier and more balanced life. So that basically is the Celtic Cross, how I do it. I'm going to make more videos about this Celtic Cross because I think it's fantastic, and I'm going to eventually, in the very near future, make more videos that explain the card positions a bit more. But I just wanted to throw another one out there so you could get used to how I do it. And I'd love any feedback. So if you guys can let me know what you think about this. If you've enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to, if you want to share it with somebody who might benefit from it, please do so. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And that's about it, really. I'll take care, and I shall see you on the next video. Keep throwing cards. Thank you. Bye-bye.